right out of college, I did not have a job, and I was terrified, and I was living in a pastor's basement with his family in exchange for doing videos for their church. While I searched high and low for a job, and I was working as a radio reporter at night at a station that our college ran at the time. And I got a call from somebody who was the internship coordinator for an internship that I had done at CBS News at 48 Hours, which is a true crime show. And he said, hey, somebody's going out on maternity leave. I've got an opening for like 3 months. Are you interested? And so I said, yeah, absolutely. And I jumped at that and took that. And it was $10 an hour in Manhattan. And I was taking a train from Connecticut to get to and from. And it worked out. And I just kept showing up and kept working hard. And that was a launching point for my career. Yeah, one of the things that's been interesting to me is some of our data shows that our newscast, which is our podcast that's updated 24 times a day, has a very high following among Gen Z. That metabolism for news and the latest and something that's clear and understandable and sort of not on the political spectrum, but covering the political spectrum is something that people have found great value in. So that's one of the products that we make as a news organization that is very appealing to Gen Z because of the cadence of it, how quickly it is, how it's right now, but when you need it. I think that's been an interesting thing for us. And then it's also thinking through, okay, what are the subject areas that Gen Z, Gen X, millennials, boomers, what are the specific topics that they're interested in? We have a big focus on climate at NPR. That's one of our coverage areas where we've invested a lot. And that's an area where we get a lot of attention from Gen Z because that's an area that they've identified as something that's really important for them. So that's one of those areas where you're going to do a story on climate that's going to appeal to a broad audience, but very specifically that might have a lot of resonance with folks in the Gen Z space.
What have you in your work noticed to be some of the top issues for Gen Z?
Yeah, I mean, climate is something we hear again and again in surveys. I'm trying to think of a way to put this, like their place in the economy, their place in society, their ways in which they want to be influential. That's something we hear a lot about. Economy is a really big one. Education is still a big topic as Gen Z is sort of making their way out of college, dealing with college debt, things like that. So those are some of the big topics that I think climate, economy, education, those are some of the ones that we hear the most from Gen Z.